Hi guys, today we'll be looking at the concept of complex numbers, real quadratics with discriminant which is less than 0. Looking at some prior knowledge, we would have to know what is a discriminant. So we know that this is a quadratic. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This is a quadratic equation. And we really know that. And we also know the formula to find out the quadratic equation, which is the one I just recalled. Let me now talk about this, would say this particular formula to calculate the quadratic equation, just this one. And why is this different from the ones you might have seen? It is because you guys can see that there is this triangle over here. Nevertheless, this triangle is what we'll look at. What is triangle equals to b square minus 4ac, which is the discriminant. So we can say, instead of this, the actual formula, if I write it, it is, I'll just write it over here, it is x equals to minus b plus minus and then under root and then this particular thing, b square minus 4ac, then by the total 2a, right? So as I told you, that's what the discriminant is. And just that the b square minus 4ac is written as that triangle, which is more or less known as discriminant. And I hope you got what is it. So now in this field quadratics, we will look at the discriminant is less than 0. So this particular portion is less than 0. We'll look at that. So when we look at that, we have to know that it does not really have any real solutions, which means there are no real numbers whose squares are negative. So we cannot place the square root of any number on the negative number on the number line, which is of course real numbers. So mathematicians then they talked about imaginary number, which allow us to consider the square root. So there's this imaginary number which is called iota, which is I, written like this, iota, which is equal to under root minus 1 with that property that when you have two iota, which is iota into iota, gives you under root 1, under root minus 1 into under root minus 1, which is equals to minus 1. And hence, when you multiply iotas, you get a real number. It's called imaginary because you cannot place this iota on the number line. So you have a number line, you have all your numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 blah. But you don't have the iota. So that's why it cannot be placed on the number line. Okay. Now looking at this example where it tells you like what the iota is equal to under root minus 1. So now let's expand our rules for square roots, including negative numbers. So in terms of iota, we have to write, the question says under root minus 81. So under root minus 81 is, of course, because there's a minus, that is the minus 1. So that becomes 81. That will be 81 into under root minus 81. Sorry, under root minus 1. So that becomes 81 into under root minus 1, which is, so we know that under root 81 is 9. So we'll write 9 as it is. And we know that this under root minus 1 equals to iota. So we can write 9i because there is 9 iotas. Right? Okay. Moving forward to the next one. It says minus and then under root minus 3. So what we will do for this one, we have minus, right? So it will be minus thing out as it is, and then we have a under root 3 and under root minus 1. We know that this is iota, so we can write that as iota right over here. You guys can see that, and we write this under root 3 as it is and that minus as it is. So you guys can see how we got the answer. And now this will allow us to obtain the solution for the quadratic equations with the discriminant which is less than 0. Now looking at this other example, you can see that x squared equals to minus 4. That's the question that you have been given. Now x squared equals minus 4, so x equals plus minus, because you take this to the other side and it, from square it becomes under roots. Just let me little thinner. Okay, right. So this is the square is going that side and becoming under root, so that becomes plus minus under root minus 4. Then because this minus is minus 1, so you take out them separately, so that becomes minus 1 and 4 separately. So under root 4 and under root minus 1, and of course plus minus is important. Then what you guys can do is under root 4 is 2, you write 2, and under root minus 1 is I, so you write iota, so that becomes 2 iotas, right? Next one which we have, it's a little longer, it's a quadratic, of course you guys can see that already. It says x squared plus x plus 2 equals 0, right? So x squared plus x plus 2 equals 0 is a quadratic equation, so you put in the formula that you have, which is already told to you guys, and you can use the discriminant and find this out. So when you find this much out after using the formula, then what you have to do is you have this that becomes a minus 1 and a 7. So under root minus 1 and under root 7. So that minus 1 becomes iota and the under root 7 stays as it is because you cannot simplify. Then that becomes minus 1 by 2 plus minus under root 7 by 2 iota. That'll be it for the b part as well, and you'll be able to translate that. So this is what we actually put in the iota. So we separated it to to 7 and to minus 1. This minus 1 became the iota, right? Next, we have a set of questions that you can try. I would just suggest some questions that you shall try. Rest you can also try all in case you want to, but suggesting some is what I'll do right now. So you guys can try a few from all. So I'll give you guys a multi-type task which will help you to try all kinds of questions. So I think that will be 3 for the first part. For the second part, I think I'll give you this question and this question. For the third part, I'm sorry, I think you guys are not able to see the question. For the third one, I would like to give you guys the B part again. I just like to give the B part so much because it is such a good question. Then this one, and then this one. Just do these three. These two from this, 3 from this. That'll be just a set of 8 questions, which you shall be able to finish in maybe half an hour maximum, or yeah, I would say half an hour, 45 minutes is maximum, not more than that for sure, because then that'll be an excess of time that you're using for solving that. So I hope you guys understood this particular topic, and I'll look you guys in the next video where I'll be explaining the brief concept of complex numbers. So stay tuned for that video. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye bye, and like and subscribe to my channel.